Afternoon, everyone. I wanted to give you a short video on making s'mores. I know that sounds kind of silly, but we've had a lot of guests up here in northern Michigan staying with us, and I'm always surprised that a lot of people don't know how to make a s'more. S'more what? You're killing me, Smalls. It's a quote. But people think that they often know how to make a s'more because they've seen it in a movie, and you take two halves of a graham cracker, you put a piece of chocolate on it, and you mash a warm marshmallow in it. And there's a lot more to it if you want to make a really good s'more. And we've been here in northern Michigan, our family, for over 100 years, and we've made a lot of s'mores in that amount of time. And we like to consider ourselves s'more experts, maybe gurus if you call it that. A lot of competitions about who can make the best s'more. And so we just wanted to give you some tips, because when people show up here, and they've never made one, it kind of stands out. We want it to be a safe environment, and also want everybody to have a good time. And really, if they're making a great s'more, they're having a better time, and it really tastes good, and they want to do it again. I think everybody has a better time when they're doing something well, and so I thought we'd offer some tips. It might be a little long, it might be a little bit detailed. You think, gosh, there can't be that much to making a great s'more. But let me tell you, Annie and I know a lot about making s'mores. And so we just thought we'll give you a tip, because if I couldn't find anything else on YouTube that gave a whole lot more than just the 1 minute, 2 minute thing on here, take the graham, take the chocolate, mash the mallow. And I think there's more to it, and I'd like to give you our experiences, and maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't, but you're invited to share in what we know. So with that, I've wrote a few notes down so I don't forget, and here we go. So the first thing is the stick. You got to find a good stick. And when you have new people show up, a lot of times you say, all right, everybody get your stick, and you want to do it during the daylight. If you wait till it's getting dark and you have the campfire, it's hard to find a good stick. And a lot of times the newbies will start walking around the area around the campfire, and they'll go to pick up a stick, and it's some dry stick on the ground or something like that. And that can really start on fire, and it's some short stick, or perhaps a big huge branch or something like that. That's not what you want to use. You want to use a nice straight young green stick. And there's a lot of nice trees in this area, and so I encourage people to go a little bit deeper into the woods around you. Choose a nice stick from a younger growing tree, one that it could help by perhaps a little bit of grooming and pruning. And you want to make sure that you choose the proper tool to get it. You don't want to just rip a branch off and damage the tree. You could also damage the stick, and you end up with like some sharp points where you're trying to hold it, and maybe you'll give yourself a splinter or something like that, or maybe it's not comfortable to hold, especially if you're giving it to children. You want a nice clean cut or something that they're not holding a pointy end on the bottom of where they've got it toward them. So we have a pair of pruning shears that we just bring with us, and I go out into the woods again, like when it's daytime. We know we're going to make s'mores that night. We say, okay, everybody, let's we're going to make s'mores, and so it's fun to everybody choose their own stick. You can help younger kids or whatever. You don't want to have a stick that's more than a few months, or carried into the next season, because it does dry out, and that's better to just use as kindling the next year. I've done that ahead of time, so you don't have to go with me out into the woods. Found a nice sapling out there that had a few branches growing off of it, and I chose one here. It's about the right length, and you want it long enough that you don't have to sit on top of the fire, but you don't want it so long that it's behind you, and then when somebody walks behind you and they knock it, and it could cause some damage. And then when you have it, like I said, you want to cut it nice and clean off the back end. I didn't rip it off the tree, I just cut it. And then any little side branches, I just cut off the side too. I didn't rip those off, but I wanted to make sure the stick stayed nice. When I got done with that, I'd also clip the other end. I wanted to make a point on it, and it's not just some point like an arrow that could hurt somebody or anything like that. It's just a decent point that you can stab a marshmallow, and then it's kind of even after that it would hold the marshmallow, not slip off. And to do that, you know, I wasn't looking to be Rambo. You don't need a huge knife. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going out into the woods or, you know, northern Michigan and I need to carry the biggest, baddest knife around. That, you know, there's a different reason for something like that. Just a little pocket knife will do. You know, there's an old Henry, a Swiss Army knife, something like that. And it's so easy to just trim it off and make the right kind of point. You want to go back far enough, you know, that it'll hold a marshmallow. And really, a stick, you know, 3 to 4 feet long, depending on the size and length from your campfire, this will do the job. And like I said, not too long, not too short where you have to be on top of the fire, but you want it just the right length, pretty straight. So as you're turning your marshmallow over the fire, you don't have to be wobbling or anything like that. If it's nice and straight, it'll be easy to turn your stick and control the marshmallow and where it is over the fire. So that's it about the stick. So you can see where I'm going with this. There's a few tips as you're getting ready to do the perfect mallow, and so that's why I thought it'd be helpful if you go ahead and get these tips. The next thing I wanted to tell you about is the mallow. There's a lot of options for the marshmallow. And you know, there's the traditional marshmallow, and that's always a lot of fun to get just the traditional marshmallow. They show that a lot of times. And then they've also given out now this new option. You can buy these giant marshmallows. You know, they're like 3 times the size. And if you love that sugar rush and you want to give it to young ones and stuff, that's always a lot of fun to cook, but it's harder to get the center all gooey in those, because by the time you get the outside going, you can't get the goo inside as easy. It takes that expert to really get that extra goo going on the inside of the giant mallows. The newest kind of mallow that we've found is a real good one, you know, this kind, Jet Puff makes them. And they're specifically s'more mallows, and I like them a lot because they come in a square and they're easy to cook. And so once you cook them, they expand a bit if you're doing it right, and then they're easy to fit onto a graham, the shape of a s'more. So these are really nice to use, easy for all ages, and so you know, you have multiple options to use with the different groups. It's just about impossible to do the little teeny marshmallows, the colored ones that you put in hot chocolate. I know a lot of times people will say, oh, I want to try these. Good luck to you. But I don't recommend it. I've just seen too many messes with that, and I'd stick to one of those 3 options. And so that's it about the mallows as far as choosing the types of options. But the next thing you want to move on to is the chocolate. You know, the traditional chocolate is Hershey's milk chocolate. You know, this is where it all started. Everybody typically sees this as the go-to in a lot of s'mores and things like that. But you do have a lot of other options. You know, some of them that we've used, one that I like a lot is the York Peppermint Patty. It's a good change-up. And then a really great one is the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. And so you can get those in multiple sizes. Those are terrific. People have also used Milky Ways, Kit Kats, Three Musketeers, Crunch Bars. You know, it's limitless what you could do on the chocolate. And you could also pour a little bit of hot fudge on top of that, you know, or the chocolate squirts, but I don't recommend too much because it can get real messy real quick. So it's limitless on where you can go with the chocolate. But like I say, the traditional, most common 90% or more are made with Hershey's milk chocolate. It's the easiest to do. It's already set up to go into squares. And I love a traditional Hershey's milk chocolate s'more. Best way to start, best way to practice, and you could just take it from there. I'd love to hear in your comments any other options that you have, because as many s'mores as we make, you know, it's fun to experiment a little bit. The next thing is the grams. There's also several choices in grams. There's the traditional graham crackers, there's honey grams, there's cinnamon grams, there's all sorts of graham crackers. It's a matter of choice, whatever you want to do. Make sure you get nice fresh ones. You want to make sure it's a fresh open package. It doesn't get soft or soggy or stale, because once you start mashing those grams together, you want to make sure you get the best gram possible. And it's the same way with the chocolate. When you're getting ready to use the chocolate, you want to make sure it is fresh, it's room temperature. You don't want to pull something out of the freezer. You know, a lot of times you store Hershey's milk chocolate in the freezer, a big package of it waiting for the next s'more event. You want to bring that out of the freezer, make sure it's still good, don't have it freezer burned or anything like that. Bring it to room temperature. If it's not room temperature, maybe it's still too cold, it'll cool the side of your marshmallow, and then you won't get that good goo that you want. So some more tips there. That's why I wrote this stuff down, because you know there's so many small tips to get the perfect s'more. So now I'm talking about the setup person. You know, there's the s'more makers, which I've been talking a lot about, but undoubtedly the most important person at the campfire is the setup person. Underrated, completely underrated. And so you need a person dedicated to setups. They're usually, you know, like this with a table. They've got the grams, they've got the chocolates, they've got the extra marshmallows. If there's other options for the chocolates, maybe the Reese's peanut butter cups, whatever it is you want, they're all over here. They've got the setup ready. As it gets darker, you might want to have one of the little camp lights or solar lights set up here so the setup person can be ready. And you want to make sure nobody starts roasting mallows before the setup person says, I'm ready to go, because you don't want to have the marshmallow ready and the setup person is not prepared. You'll just end up with a cold mallow. And so we've got a couple of tables. You know, this is a nice size that you could just kind of set your stuff up. And the setup person, they've got to be respected. You know, say please and thank you. You don't want to rush them. You don't want to have 3-4 people coming at them at the same time saying, I need mine, I need mine. A good way to do that is to give the setup person a minute or two heads up, saying, you know what, I think my mallow is going to be ready in, you know, 2 minutes. And I'd like a gram with traditional Hershey's on it, or I want mine with a Reese's peanut butter cup. You know, so then the setup person could go ahead and they usually have, you know, their grams broken up. Perhaps they have some of their Hershey's chocolates broken up in advance. They can go ahead and have everything all set up and lined up. They can have the chocolates unwrapped. They can have the Reese's peanut butter cups unwrapped. And so then when they get that notice, they could just grab the pieces. And then as you approach the setup person, they just say, ready. And then you stick your stick out toward that, and they just mash it down nice and easy for it and hand it to you. They also have to have the skill to mash just the right pressure so that they don't crush it and break the gram. That's why I say it's a skill. It really is a skill. The setup person, it's underrated. They've got to be one of the most experienced s'more makers there. And it's, like I say, you got to respect it. Each person that's making the mallows over the age of 14 should offer to make a s'more for the setup person. Everybody. And of course, if you have a bunch of people, you know, the setup person can't eat that many s'mores. I don't know how many s'mores you can eat in a night. You know, usually for me it's two. So the setup person will say, you know, oh, you know, thank you for the offer. You know, no, I've had enough. But the setup person also knows who's making the best mallows, right? So to be chosen by the setup person to say, yeah, I'd like to have one of yours. It's kind of a symbol of respect. It's an honor for the setup person to say, I want one of your s'mores. Consider that. Setup person is really important. Everybody around the campfire knows then that's the mallow man, right? So it's good. It also, if the setup person chooses one of the kids, you know, builds some confidence, they're happy. Of course, all the kids want to be chosen. They're always trying to get, you know, the setup person to eat another one of their marshmallows, you know, so you got to be kind of selecting how many s'mores you can eat. So keep that in mind. But like I said, give the setup person plenty of warning, tell them what you want, and then when you get ready to arrive, again, another 10-second warning saying, here I come. I'm bringing my mallow. Walk safely behind the other people over to the setup person. Approach them. Make sure it's never a burning mallow. Don't bring a burning mallow to anyone, or especially the setup person. Dangerous. Burning mallows should not leave the fire pit area. If you end up burning a mallow, be very, very safe. Get it blown out right away, or drop it down in. Burning mallows are dangerous. They continue to burn for a while unless you can get them blown out. One time we even had somebody flinging it and it went flying off. So burning mallows are dangerous, and don't walk around with one. So speaking of that, I think the next thing to do is grade mallows. We take this very serious. All the mallows, and I'm talking, there's probably been 1,000 mallows made here at this campfire. And so we get into kind of a competition about grading mallows on a scale of 1 to 10. You could use this if you want, but for us, it's a competition. And so, you know, a lot of people show up for the first time. Maybe they've got experience, maybe they don't. And you can pick it out right away. The inexperienced people typically don't get past level 3. And so you got to kind of coach them and train them. You know, they'll walk up and they'll like stick it above a high flame fire. But a fire, you know, it shouldn't be above your knees. You should have nice red coals down near the bottom. And that's where you want to focus. You don't want to put your mallow in a red flame. That's where you get it burning. But if you can get it right above some nice orange red coals, that's where you can focus on getting your mallow cooked the right way. Slow and easy. Patience wins. Getting the right puff, getting the right brownness. You know, so like I talked about grading it, and you know, if you rush it, you end up getting like a grade 1 or 2, because this is how we do it. In a level 1, you still have a lot of white. You know, the mallow still looks kind of like the original. It's still spongy. Over 50% of the mallow is still white. It's like, you know, it's not cooked. So you're a level 1. Same thing, level 2, over 50-70% of it is burned. So you stuck it in that tall flame and you burned it. So that's a level 2. Level 3 is you browned it, and it started to soften, but eventually, at some point, it burst into flames. Maybe it just 10%, 20% is burned. But hey, Annie, leave that chipmunk alone. No, be nice to that chipmunk. Sorry about the interruption. And so at some point, it burst into flames. You quick blew it out, but your mallow should never burst into flames. It'll leave a char mark, and that detracts from the rest of the mallow taste. Level 4. This is browned all the way around the circumference, right? I'll pull out a a mallow so you can see what I'm talking about. So if this mallow was on a stick like this, you were able to brown it the whole way around, right? All the way around, it's brown. But you left part of the top or part of the bottom white. So the mallow's not all the way cooked, okay? So that's a level 4. So newbies, usually they're only about a 1, 2, or 3. But by the end of the first day, they're learning. Maybe they got to a level 4. So that's a good thing. They're really starting to get into it, and they are starting to brown that mallow pretty good. And that's nice that they can experience a nice s'more. Then when you get to a level 5, that's where you can go ahead and brown it the whole way around, and the top and the bottom. And so that's an experienced mallow maker, a level 5. And so that's where you can truly start to enjoy the whole s'more. And so you want to make sure that you can get that brownish little bit of crispiness all the way around the mallow. But you can tell it's a level 5 because when the setup person goes ahead and closes it and you pull your stick out, there's still a little bit of mallow left on the stick. That's a level 5. You reach level 6 when you do the same thing, but there's no mallow left on the stick. So that means you got that brown all the way around, top, bottom, the whole bit, but when the setup person pulls it off, there's no mallow left on the stick, other than like the small coating, but the whole mallow is able to slide off because it's softened the whole way through. That's where you truly get a great taste on your s'more, because that nice goo is all the way through. So you've got the experience, and now you're really getting a true flavor of the s'more. So level 7, okay, is when you have everything in level 7, but now you have the mallow starts to grow and turn round. So that mallow is growing and expanding. So you got it's soft inside, it's brown all the way around, but now you've even got it to grow. So that's exciting, is to see it start to grow. That's a level 7. Level 8 is all of that, but you can actually make the mallow grow over twice its original size. That's how you tell a level 8. If you can do that, you're called a mallow guru. So you've gone all the way to somebody looks at you and you're like, hey, this guy, girl, she really knows what she's doing. The setup person's usually only picking the experienced person, the expert person, or the guru. They want to see that nice puffed up mallow, because then when they go ahead and gush it, they're getting a really nice flavor. Level 9, okay, level 9. You've got it to puff up like that. This has only been done a few times. I'm serious. I've only seen it done, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 times. So you've done everything that I've mentioned so far. Cooked all the way around, a nice crispy ball. It's grown, it's gooey, nothing left on the stick, but it's actually grown to the size of a baseball. This can take 5-10 minutes to just slowly cook off. It's evenly brown the whole way around. It's the shape of a baseball. It's amazing to see. Amazing to see. Like I said, I've only seen it a few times. We call it the mallow legend. It's talked about for years, right? There's only a few mallow legends around. And so that is a level 9. It's incredible. It's incredible to see. And I mean, hats off. Level 10, it's never been done. We have no definition. So nobody's gone beyond a level 9, so it remains undefined. So that standard hasn't been set. So perfection, I don't know what it is to get beyond a level 9. Like I said, I've seen a level 9 4, 5, 6 times. They're legends. But if there is a level 10 and somebody knows what it would be, let me know. But as far as marshmallow cooking, that's how we grade it. And if you know what can go beyond a 9, again, put it in the comments, and I'd love to hear what a 10 would be. Now, beyond grading the mallow, we also grade the s'more. So the mallow is part of the construction, but the s'more is the true treat. So we grade the s'more. So when you grade the s'more, when you get something like you see on TV, where you just kind of, put the whole thing together, and you see this all the time. They like stick it in, it's over the top of a flame, they pull it out, and then they just mash it together. That we consider that disqualified. It's not even on the grading scale. Or it bursts into flames, and not even on the grading scale. Or perhaps during the assembly it's so hard that the gram cracks. It's disqualified. Doesn't make the grading scale. Perhaps you approach the setup person too fast, the mallow drops, you say, I'll make it anyways. Disqualified, not on the grading scale. And so, if you're getting a good puffy one and you're not holding on to it properly, or you let it just drop off your stick, disqualified. You need to make sure it goes the whole way through the cycle for it to qualify. So this is where the mallow grading starts. A good s'more means first you got to get to a level 6 with your mallow. All right? So you need to start with a level 6 mallow. And just to summarize, you've got it evenly browned all the way around the mallow. You're considered an expert mallow maker. So you got to have it evenly browned, top, bottom, circumference, the whole bit. So that's where you start with the level 6 mallow. And then you can't have any disqualifying events like we just talked about. And there's evidence during assembly from the setup person that you get the goo coming out of at least 2 sides. So when they put it on and squish it, the mallow starts to goo out of at least 2 sides. So that's a good s'more. That's how we grade it. That's a good s'more. An excellent s'more is when you have the level 7 mallow or above. Okay, so you've got the level 7 mallow. You don't have any disqualifying events, right? But there's evidence of gooing coming out 3 sides. I mean, then you have an excellent mallow. Okay, so level 7 or above. And remember, level 7 did everything with level 6 mallow. And then the mallow begins to puff, turn into a ball. There's nothing on the stick. You're the expert mallow maker. And so you have an excellent s'more at that point. That's setup person wants an excellent s'more. So outstanding, this is not just the excellent expert mallow maker, they're the expert s'more maker. If you can do an outstanding s'more. So they've got the level 8 or above mallow, no disqualifications, and when the s'more is made, you have goo dripping out all 4 sides. So that setup comes out, goes together, and it's gooey and dripping out all 4 sides. I mean, it's incredible. You just bite into it, and it's just soft inside. It's wonderful. It really is. The last and final level is s'more heaven. So it's just like I was talking about with an outstanding s'more, but additionally, with that goo, you can have evidence of some of the chocolate dripping with the mallow. It's actually melted some of that chocolate because you've got that mallow so warm when you deliver it that you can just mush it together, and it is just perfection. You know, like we talk about s'more heaven. It's just, you're considered then the s'more guru. You are delivering the s'more. Again, you know, that's where experience comes in. It's really, really hard to do. Not done often, not done often. But that's it. If you want any more information on s'mores, I'd be happy to hear it. If you got tips on s'more making, I'd love to hear it. But that's my tips and ideas, our grading scale, what we've done with s'mores, and I hope this has been helpful. Love to hear from you. If you think this has been helpful, give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to talking to you on the next video. That's it from Higgins Lake. Talk to you later.